Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ike's Political Minutes. Today we will be simulating the 2024 presidential election if it is between President Joe Biden and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And I will fill out the states that I believe would be safe for Biden first. I think DeSantis would fare better in the Sun Belt as well, just a note. I think he would win the West Coast handily, he would win Illinois, and he would win the Northeast. Filling out those states right now. And yeah, DeSantis is doing much better in the New Hampshire primary compared to other states, and I think that he could make it competitive, though Biden did win it by a big margin, so I'd say it leans to Biden still. However, I think DeSantis's northeastern appeal would definitely land him a very large win in Maine's 2nd congressional district. Let's put that likely, though Maine at large would probably be likely for Biden still, and Maine's 1st congressional district, safe blue as always. And now moving on to the states that I believe would be safe for Ron DeSantis. He would win Alaska, he would win the Rocky Mountain states and the Great Plains states, with the exception of Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. I think that DeSantis does have stronger suburban appeals. However, it did go to Joe Biden by a very large margin in 2020, by 6 points. It was redistricted to favor Republicans, though, so it could be close. I think all in all, Biden wins it by a tilt margin. And DeSantis wins Kansas and Oklahoma huge. He wins the Deep South by a very large margin. And I'd say he wins Texas by a likely margin. I think he would do better than Trump in a state like this, a state where there are a lot of younger conservative voters who are more ready for that generational change. I think I would really come out for Ron DeSantis. I actually think he might win Florida by a safe margin, honestly. I mean, DeSantis is widely popular in that state, and Joe Biden is just being painted as this radical socialist. I don't think that that would fare well with Floridian voters. And considering that Ron DeSantis won his home state by 20 points, carrying places like Miami-Dade County in 2022, I really do think that he can lock down his home state of Florida as safe. And Iowa, I think that would be likely just based on trends, though he wouldn't be as strong as someone like Donald Trump with that populist conservatism. Ohio, I actually think would be just lean for Ron DeSantis. I think that someone like Donald Trump would better inspire these voters, and I think that Ron DeSantis, like JD Vance, could be more vulnerable to Joe Biden in the same way that Vance was to Tim Ryan. And now I think that very narrowly, Ron DeSantis would carry the states of North Carolina and Georgia. I think he has strong suburban appeal, and I think that generally he would do better in the Sun Belt than other candidates. I think that Biden would still carry Colorado, Virginia, and New Mexico by likely margins, just because that's the way these states have moved. I really don't see how DeSantis can penetrate this firewall, especially given his recent extremist attacks on corporations like Disney. And Arizona, I actually think that Joe Biden would carry that state very narrowly. And the reason being that Arizona, while yes, they like their populist conservatives, they also penalize people who go too far. Like Carrie Lake is a great example of that. She called for her opponent, Katie Hobbs, to be thrown in jail. She said that the 2020 election was illegitimate and that was the litmus test for the Republican primary. DeSantis has gone out with similar kinds of extremist rhetoric. And honestly, I think that his support of Trump wouldn't be enough to win back that John McCain coalition. Arizona is a state where, yes, the suburban vote matters, but also you just can't be too extreme. You can't inflame that side. So I think it would go narrowly to Biden. Nevada, however, I think DeSantis would win there. I think he has that kind of Joe Lombardo appeal in that state, and especially if the Republicans get their ballot harvesting operation together, because Nevada, I mean, DeSantis has led there very widely in the polls, and it's one of the few swing states that, like Florida, is trending to the right. I think, however, that the Rust Belt is where his weaknesses would really be made manifest. I think that Minnesota would be likely and Michigan would be lean. Democrats have won sizable victories in both states recently, and I think that Biden would hold on in both of them just because really Ron DeSantis doesn't appeal too well to the Rust Belt kinds of voters. I mean, he supported cuts to entitlement programs, he supported the TPP, he isn't super big on trade deals, and I think that narrowly he would lose both of those states. I also think that Joe Biden would win Pennsylvania for the same reason. And Wisconsin is a really tough call. It's such a close state. It could go either way, but I'm going to put it narrowly in Joe Biden's column. So this is the final map. 281 electoral votes for Donald Trump and 257 for Ron DeSantis. Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all later.